Okay, um, forgive me for that. This lecture, got to get everything set up here. There's a lot of technology to manage. This lecture is lecture 2 for chapter 1, and we're going to talk about this section, beliefs and claims. Excuse me. And so I want to get clear about the terminology of these things. I said in lecture 1 that this is a class about thinking. A critical thinking course is a course where we're thinking about our thinking, okay? And so not how it is done, but how it should be done, okay? The first step in doing that is to come to terms with some terminology, okay? I don't I'm not overly familiar with how we use these terms all the time in everyday language. I mean, I think I know what people mean by belief and claim, but those terms have a very specific meaning for us in this class. And the way that people use those terms in common English sometimes confuses some issues. So let's have a talk about how we're going to mean beliefs and claims in this course. Okay? Let's talk about the word belief. Okay? When I assert that I have a belief, or you assert that you have a, or not that you assert anything, hold on. A belief is something that we take to be true. For example, when I say, I believe that it will snow today, I'm asserting to you that I have a certain disposition, a certain belief that something is true, and that is that it will snow today. So my belief is a conclusion or something that I take to be true. We hold beliefs about a great many things. You look at me and you form beliefs about who I am. You form beliefs about what this class is going to be like, how difficult or how easy this is, or how much of a waste of time this is. You're forming beliefs. You have beliefs. And I have beliefs. I believe currently that my dog is sleeping on my couch in the other room. He probably is because I put the blanket there. And when he sees the blanket on the couch, he's up and curl. I have a little Jack Russell, and he's all about nap time, which I can't blame him for, but that's what he's all about. Um, Beliefs, just things that we take to be true. Believe that my dog is on the couch. Um, you believe, I hope you believe that you will learn a lot from this course. Um, Um, I believe that it will um, not snow today, even though it is in fact, as I record this, quite cold outside. I do not believe that it will snow today. Now, my belief could be true or it could be false. Okay, but what I want you to know about beliefs is that they're separate from feelings. A belief and a feeling are an entirely different thing. A feeling is a sentiment, and a sentiment and a belief are different. And the difference is this: my beliefs are things that I take to be true. My feelings are not necessarily things that I take to be true. When I read a news report, I was struck by a news report I read about two British teenagers who um, took the life. They slowly beat a woman to death. Which is a very morbid topic, but and I read that article and I was actually very saddened by the article. But my state of feeling sad, my emotional state of feeling sad, was not itself a belief. It wasn't. It's not true or false. If my kids do something and I become angry, my anger isn't true or false. But my beliefs are. Now, I have a belief about the situation with these teenagers in England who killed this woman. Um, I have a belief that what they did is wrong, but that's a belief. That's something that I take to be true, that it is morally wrong what they did. And when I'm angry at my kids, it is because I believe that they have done something that it justifies my anger most often. So, but I want you to separate now a belief from a feeling, and beliefs and feelings are two entirely different things. And this is a course about critical thinking, and so it's about your beliefs. It's about what you take to be true or false. Okay. Now separate that from the word claim. Now here's the other word that's in this section of your lesson here. A claim is a proposition or a statement or an expression that we make of our belief. So when I assert, I believe that it will snow today, that is a claim in which I express my belief, what I take to be true. Now, what's interesting about this word claim, something that is either true or false. Claims are things that have a truth value, okay? So when I say that a claim has a truth value, here's what I mean. I'm asserting that it's the kind of thing that is either true or false. So a claim is different than a command. So if, for example, let's say that I'm driving to Easton, to the mall at Easton, and I have both my kids in the car. My oldest, who's learning to drive currently, is sitting in the, let's say, the seat next to me, and my youngest is in the back, but they're going at it, okay, and they're pecking at each other, okay, and I go, knock it off! It would be very odd for my youngest to look at me and say, false. Why? Well, because knock it off, or stop it, or, you know, knock it off. I have no other words to describe it. Stop it. It's not the kind of thing that's true or false, right? It's a command, right? Commands are not true or false. Now, a command is an expression of my feelings, but it's not a claim because it's not asserting something that I think to be true or false. So commands, questions, hey, how was your day at school? False. Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because a question isn't the kind of thing that's either true or false. Questions are questions, but they're not assertions of what we take to be true or false. Um, Neither are emotions, and I've made this point before, but emotions are neither true nor false. If I'm sitting with my wife and we're watching a movie and I'm very touched by what happens in the movie, let's say we're watching Steel Magnolias, for those of you who know about that movie. We're watching Steel Magnolias and very touching scene happens and a little tear wells up and I look at my wife and I'm beginning to well up and I'm clearly emotional. It would be very awkward for my wife to look at me and say, false. Why? Well, because my feelings themselves are not true or false. They're not a claim. They're not an assertion of something I take to be true or false. So a claim, and claims are going to be very, very important, but a belief is just, let's go back over this real quick. A belief is something that you have that you take to be true or false. When I assert that I believe something, I'm saying I think that that's true. Not a feeling. A belief is not a feeling. Okay, a feeling is different because a belief is a disposition I have to accept something is true. A claim is the way that we express our belief. And a claim is something that can be true or false. It has a truth value. Okay. All right. In addition to the word claim, now, by the way, you may hear me use the word statement or proposition, and I'm going to use the words claim, statement, and proposition synonymously. I'm going to assume that those words refer to pretty much the same thing, and that is an assertion of our belief, something that has a truth value. Okay?